I've never been much of a person who talks about how I'm feeling, especially publicly. As I sit and write this letter, I wonder if anyone will ever read it. But one thing I do know is I've always had a way with words, whether it be through poetry or my preferred method, song lyrics. So I decided to write and get all of my thoughts and feelings of this crazy year down on paper, just so I can have them to look back on. On my 26th birthday, I spent it more or less alone. Being a New Year's Eve baby, I've been used to spending my birthdays with only really close family. It's a holiday, and it's never really bothered me, at least that I've shown. But every year, at night, when everyone goes to bed and I'm left with just myself, I have to fight back these intrusive thoughts that are constantly playing on repeat in my mind. You're not good enough. No one cares. It's just another year. So, as I sat in my bed with my eyes filled with tears, listening to my sister and her best friend laugh in the next room, I began to reflect on my life and all of its ups and downs. I thought back to the girl I was at 16, a whole decade prior, and who she was, what dreams she had, what hopes she held. Would she be proud of me? Would she look forward to being me? And the answer was simple: no. She wouldn't want to be me. I sure as hell didn't want to be me. I remember curling in on myself, wishing I could die, but not wanting to. Not because I wanted to live, but because I didn't want my family to have to go through the trauma of finding my body the next morning. And granted, at the time, it was a good thing. It was something for me to think about to keep me in this world. I mean, if I'm gone, who's gonna drive my little sister to McDonald's at 3 a.m. on the weekends? Who would she go to talk about boys? My nephew would grow up hearing all these stories of the aunt that he couldn't remember. My parents would mourn, cry, scream. My sisters wouldn't be a trio anymore. They'd only have each other. Where would I fall in their memories? My birthday would become a day of sadness, and instead of celebrating the new year, they would mourn another year without me. But what is a life that is lived for others? I used them as an anchor, a desperate way to keep myself from doing the unthinkable. Never once did I think to myself, I want to live for me. I want to live for my own benefit. Not once did that thought cross my mind. Every time I made the climb out of that depth, it was alone because I was afraid to ask for help, in fear of being pitied, rejected, or looked down upon. I used my family's love as a way to keep me in this world, but the life I was leading wasn't for me. It was for them. And I had no other reason to wake up in the morning. And when I realized this, I hit the lowest point that I had ever been, and I was hollow. The next morning, I woke up with dried tears, puffy eyes, and a massive headache. I made a decision. No more. No more sleepless nights of tears and broken hearts. I remember getting in the shower and allowing all of the pain from the night before to swirl down the drain, and a new hope filled me. I knew what would pull me out of this darkness. I knew it would be a reason to live, a reason for happiness that would be mine and mine alone. And that was my music. I immediately began working on it, but also I started working on myself. I refused to only write from a place of sadness, anger, and regret. I decided to work on my mental, emotional, and physical health as well. I registered to go to therapy. I set up doctor's appointments to improve my weight and my relationship with food. I went to the dentist for the first time in years. And I began to write, and write, and write, and write. The more I worked on myself as an individual who has suppressed so much trauma, the music began to flow so easily. I began speaking with a therapist twice a week, trying to tackle these demons that had been living in my brain for so long. I learned so much about myself, and in such a short time. I was filled with this new feeling, a sense of peace that I had never really experienced before. I learned that the mental and physical abuse that I had endured in a past relationship wasn't my fault. I couldn't blame myself for choices that he made. I learned that I was a good person and that I was and still am worthy of love and respect. I learned that I shouldn't run after people when they leave, because if they love me, they'll come back. And if they don't, that's a choice that they made, not me. I've begun to recognize these tics that I've developed over the years, and I'm learning how to control them. I've grown in so many ways into a healthy human being. Am I still damaged? Yes. Am I still working on things? Yes. Am I perfect? God, no. I have so much further to go and so many more lessons to learn, but this year, this 1 year, has been the start of a whole new world of possibilities. As I get closer to the release of my first album, the excitement just gets more and more intense, but so does the fear. Every song on this album was written entirely by me, straight from the depths of my soul, my happiness, and my pain. Each song showcases a different feeling, a memory, or a situation that I've begun to tackle in this year of rebuilding. Each are incredibly special to me, and the fact that they're being put out into the world for everyone to hear, it's similar to imagining a diary being leaked, and it's terrifying. But another thing I've learned in my quest to heal is that nothing can change what I've gone through. I can't magically go back in time and stop the bad things from happening. Hiding all of those feelings and fears has only hollowed out my heart when it should be filled with love and support. And although sharing my stories with the public is scary, if I could help even one individual with these songs, then that would be enough for me. My music is my solitude, but it's also my saving grace. I write unapologetically, and I plan on continuing to do so. I hope everyone who listens to these songs thinks of the girl behind them and the stories that they're inspired by. And they use the lessons that I've learned to spread love and kindness into a world that is so littered with pain and sorrow. I'm getting closer to my next birthday, and my mindset is in a complete 180 from what it was last year. Last year, I didn't even want to make it to my next birthday. This year, I'm ready to say goodbye to 26 and thank it for all of the lessons and wisdom it's given me. I'm ready to welcome the future with open arms and continue to improve my life, my career, my music, and more importantly, myself. So, in a way, this is a goodbye. 26, it's been an adventure. But I'm ready for 27.